Now, let me talk about the law of the variable proportions. So, before I talk about the law of the variable proportions, I have taken the amount of the variable factor on the x-axis and have taken the output on the y-axis. Now, the law of variable proportions has three stages: the stage 1, stage 2, and the stage 3. The three stages, the first stage is known as law of increasing returns, the second stage is known as law of diminishing returns, and the third stage is known as law of negative returns. Now, firstly, before talking about this relationship, we'll see from whether this relationship holds from the table as well. Now, we see first thing the relationship that we have talked about, average product and the marginal product. Now, when the average product is rising, marginal product is more than the average product. So we can see it over here. Marginal product being more than the average product. When the average product is maximum, the marginal product is equal to the average product, and when the average product is falling, marginal product is less than the average product. Now, let me talk about it again. When average product is rising, marginal product is more than the average product. When average product is maximum, marginal product is equal to the average product. When average product is falling, marginal product is less than the average product. Now, let me explain this law in detail, and let me explain all the three stages in detail. Now, let me talk about the first stage of this law, that is the law of increasing returns. Uh, the first stage, that is law of increasing returns. So among this law of variable proportions, I have three stages. The first stage is law of increasing returns. Now, what happens in this stage? Now, let me first talk about that. The total product is rising, and it's rising at an increasing rate. Now, if I see the first point that I will write about it, that is total product is rising at increasing rate. What about this? The marginal product first rises and then falls, but is still positive. Marginal product first rises, then falls, but is still positive. And the average product rises, reaches maximum. And this stage ends when average product is equal to the marginal product. There you can see over here, average product is going to be equal to the marginal product. Now, let me talk about this stage in detail and what is going to happen in this stage. Now, in the stage one, why does the law of increasing return happen actually? Suppose I employ one machine that is a fixed factor. Let me again talk about that we are in the short run where one factor is fixed, another factor is variable. Now, when we talk about the product change in the production, it is only by the change in the variable factor. So when I employ one factor, one variable factor, one labor on a machine, I'm going to produce some amount of the output. As I increase the variable factor, as I increase the amount of labor into the in on this machine, the output is going to increase at an increasing rate. Now, this is because of the two reasons. The first is the efficiency of the fixed factor, because fixed factor is now being employed efficiently, because earlier we just had 1, then we are moving to 2, then we are moving to 3 and 4 and so on. We are increasing the amount of the variable factor So with the increase in the amount of the variable factor, the production is rising at an increasing rate. So as more and more amount of the variable factor is going to get increased, and then what happens is, because of this increase in the variable factor, the efficiency of the fixed factor in itself improves, because the machine, if the machine, say for example, if the machine has a capacity to employ 10 laborers at a time, so if we are employing only one, we are not employing the fixed factor in the best possible manner. Now if I increase the laborers into it, say for example I'm increasing by 2, 3, 4 and so on, the efficiency of the fixed factor increases, and it becomes and it can produce more output at an increasing rate. Now in this case, the total output is increasing because the efficiency of the fixed factor is improving. Now, in the second stage, that is known as in the stage of the diminishing returns. Now, what happens in this stage is that the total product is again rising, but it is rising at a diminishing rate. Now let me rub it up. What is happening to the total product? Total product is rising, but it is rising at a diminishing rate. So total product is rising at diminishing rate. So what happens to the average product and marginal product? Both are falling. Average product as well as marginal product is falling in the second stage. That is law of decreasing returns. Let me change it over here also. Law of decreasing returns or diminishing returns, we can write it. Law of diminishing returns. So both average product as well as marginal product is falling. Now this stage ends when the marginal product becomes 0, and this stage ends when the marginal product becomes 0. Let me rub it up. Now this stage ends when marginal product becomes 0. Now in this case the marginal product is equal to over here the 0, and this stage is over when the marginal product tends to now move to the negative territory. Now in this case, why does the production increase at a diminishing rate? It is because the fixed factor, in our case that I have taken an example of a machinery, that is fully employed. So whatever is the capacity of this machinery, the amount of the labors that can be employed on this machinery have been fully utilized, and the capacity of this machinery, of this fixed factor, has been fully utilized. So now by the addition of the variable factor, the production is going to increase, but it's not going to increase drastically, or it's not going to increase at an increasing rate. Rather than it is going to increase somehow at a diminishing rate. Now then we move on to the third stage, that is law of negative returns. The third stage, that is law of negative returns. Now in this case the total product is falling. First, both average product as well as marginal product are falling, and also marginal product becomes negative. Now as I have utilized the machinery up to the full extent in the second stage, employing one additional unit of the variable factor on this machinery will result into the breakdown of the machineries, or will not increase the output, rather than it will decrease the output in itself, because the machinery is not able to bear the load of the additional amount of the variable factor. In this case, that's why the total product is decreasing in this stage, and the change in the total output with respect to the change in the quantity of the labor is becoming negative, which means that by the additional employment of the variable factor, it is not now going to increase the production, rather than it is going to reduce down the production, and now it's going to give us the negative returns. That means every additional employment of the variable factor is now going to backfire, because in this stage second only we have utilized, in the law of diminishing returns only, we have fully utilized our fixed factor, and there is no now we cannot employ more. If we employ one additional variable factor, it is just going to reduce down the production. It is not going to contribute anything to the, or even if it's going to increase the production, but that will be at a very diminishing rate, and it's going to produce some negative returns. So in this case, the change in the output is going to fall drastically because of the putting up the burden on the fixed factor. So in this case, the even if the variable factor is employed free of cost, still it should not be employed, because in this case it is not going to, just a waste of the resource. It's not going to contribute anything to the production. So the law of negative returns, in this case, what is going to happen, the variable factor is not going to contribute anything to the production, because we have already utilized the machinery, or the fixed factor, utilize this capacity in the second stage only. Now, the another factor that we have to talk about over here is, in which stage should a producer operate? Should he operate in stage 1? Should he operate in stage 2nd? Or should he operate in this stage 3rd? Now, what will a rational producer do? In which stage is he going to operate? That we will talk about over here. Let me first drop it down. Now, we'll be talking about the stage of operation. Okay, now let me talk about the stage of operation. Stage of operation. Now, if I talk about the stage 1, in this case, the what happens in the stage 1 is that, let me first talk about the stage 3rd. That is the stage in which the total product is falling, where I am employing one additional amount of the variable factor. In this case, the marginal product of the variable factor is going to be negative, which is obviously true, that because if I put more burden on the fixed factor, it's not going to contribute anything to the output. Now, what happens in this stage 1? In the stage 1, when the production is increasing at an increasing rate, however, the very important scenario in this case is that the fixed factor is not being employed fully. So the marginal product of the fixed factor in this case is going to be negative. So in this case, I'm not fully utilizing the capacity of the fixed factor. Although I can put more labor on it, and can produce more outputs. However, I'm not being able to fully utilize my fixed factor in this stage 1. And in the stage 2, all the factors, both the fixed factor and variable factor, are fully utilized. and the plant is now operating at the optimum capacity in this stage. Although the production is increasing at a diminishing rate, but still the plant is fully utilized in this stage, so it is the best stage of operation is this stage second. So a rational producer will operate in stage second. So because in this stage both the factors are fully utilized, so it is the best stage in which a rational producer should operate.